Hello, welcome to me trying to figure out what I'm going to do for Christmas because I leave to see my family in 2 days and I have only bought socks for my brother because that's all he gets. They're nice socks, but they're still socks. I wanted to also make a video on the process of it, and I was like, 3 would be good. Because I had a gift idea for my old roommate, Michaela. She just got a cat recently. She has another cat and she has a gecko. And I was like, well, I want to make her something cute. Something we usually talk about is like books that we're reading. And so I was like, I'll make her like a little bookmark of like her 3 little animals. So then she can have her animals and have a bookmark. And I made her something. And I don't have to buy anything. And I was like, I can make a bookmark. I'll use the stuff that I have my stickers, I make my stickers with, and I'll do all that. So, we'll get into that first. So, it's Friday morning, and I was like, well, I only have the bookmark, but people usually like 3, so let's do 2 more. And I woke up this morning and I was like, let's paint dogs. Everyone likes when they get, the bookmarks were her pets. The easiest thing to get someone a gift of is their pet, because they love their pet. So I was like, well, my mom, our dog Wally, he passed away a few years ago, but she still loves him, and I made a painting of him like back in college, and I hate it. I hate looking at it. So I was like, I can do a new one of Wally. And for my aunt, she has 2 dogs. They're collies. They're really sweet, Henry and Ella. And I was like, I'll paint them too. And so I was like, this shouldn't be too hard. I don't really paint dogs in my free time. As you can see, at least from my last video, I talked about the paintings I've done recently, and they're all like trees. I like trees. I like nature. I like green. So I was like, let's do dogs. Every time I'm like, let's paint a gift, it's a pet, and I'm painting dogs. And then I don't paint dogs the rest of the year. I only paint dogs in December. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna paint dogs. So I decided I was going to do 2 paintings, one of Wally and one of Henry and Ella for my aunt. And I was gonna do them in squares and just like based off a photo I have. I found these 2 photos here. I think they're really cute. The one of Wally, he's like blinking. It was from so long ago. And then Henry and Ella, they're cute little babies. I decided I was going to do the Wally on a small one. I needed these to be small. Most of the things I have are like 9x12s or like a little bit smaller. So I was like, these need to be compact. Because I just thought of that this morning. It's Friday afternoon. I have to finish a painting tonight, then finish a painting tomorrow on Saturday morning because on Saturday night I have a party. So I won't be painting then or after. And then Sunday morning I have to pack and go and leave. So that's the schedule we're working with. So right now I got these little canvases. I got a 6x8 and a 6x6 and an 8x8. So we're gonna be starting with those 2. Wally's gonna be on this one, and then the 2 babies are gonna be here. So hopefully I can get those done in time and have 2 gifts ready for my family when I leave to see them in a day and a half. Yay! Love last minute planning. Let's get into it. So for the bookmark, which I will put over here because I didn't really do, I want to like screen record. I like when they do like draw-alongs with you when it comes to drawing on Procreate. I like when you can like see them zoom in and out and like all around. Like when you just do the Procreate one, it just does like the canvas, which is fine as like a baseline, but it would be nice to have that like zoom in, zoom out. So I will try to be better about that next time. I did this over the span of like 2 days. What I need to do now is turn it into a bookmark, which I did during my lunch today. And I also didn't film that, which is great. It's great for me. But that was pretty easy to draw. I had a little hard time with Nola, the bottom one. There's Nola, and then there's she's a spotted leopard gecko, I think, and her name's Tofu. And then the top one is Peso, and he's really sweet. I haven't met him yet, but I would love to. She just got him like maybe 2-3 months ago now. So I was like, this will be so cute to include all her new babies that she's gotten this year. I think the hardest part of this was Nola. For some reason, I just like couldn't get her to look how I wanted it to, or like cute. I didn't want it to be like completely symmetrical or like looking straight on. I wanted them to kind of be like at angles, and like just a little bit more dynamic. And I just like couldn't. I feel like it just took a second. I think where it ended up, I think it looks fine, but that's probably where I had the most trouble. I think that's where I went back and kept fidgeting with. Once the design was ready, I took it to my computer, added a little bit extra outline, took it to Cricut and printed it out, and then I added, here's the leftovers, I didn't film it, but I added laminate to the front and the back just to make it more sturdy, and cut it out so you can see the remnants of it right there. So here's how it turned out. I have a little videos and pictures of it because I sent it out, so hopefully she can get it before Christmas, but I think it turned out really sweet and really cute. And now that that's done, I can now worry about finishing 2 paintings before my party and leaving. So let's move on to that. Take it away. So, jumping straight into Henry and Ella, that's who we're starting with. It's Friday night, and I was like, let's get the one that's gonna probably be the hardest, because it has 2 subjects and it's their full body, out of the way. So, I started off with an 8x8 inch canvas, and I went ahead and added some grid lines. I have my reference over to the left on my iPad, with the grid on top of it, just to like make it a little bit easier on myself, since I decided to do this last minute. I started off with a blue base. I wasn't really sure on what I wanted to use as my underpainting, since I knew that there were going to be mainly like white, orange, and like brown. Like I said earlier in the video, I usually work with like trees and greenery, so I usually like to have like yellow or red as an underpainting for those and have that kind of peeking through. I thought blue would be a great base color for this, since like they're gonna be surrounded by green, and I thought blue would just like work well. I add blue into a little bit of whites here as well, which I think turns out really well. And I thought it would be cool. Spoiler, it doesn't really peek through. I end up just basically like covering the whole thing, but it was nicer to look at than starting with a completely red canvas. So I really like this part because Ella kind of just looks like she's bald with all that brown. She just looked like a little bald lady. It doesn't look so bad here, but something that I struggle with throughout this piece is just Ella's face. I feel like I couldn't get it to look right, and it doesn't help that my camera's also at an offset angle, but I just like, you'll see me like cover up her face and go back at it, and I think later on I had to just like grab the painting and like figure it out where her eyeball was gonna go, because I couldn't get it to look right. Honestly, right here, it looks fine at this angle, but I think the way that I was sitting, it looked a little bit more skewed. So that was just a constant struggle throughout this piece. But for some reason, I thought Henry was eating. He was sitting back there eating the whole time. I really like the blue in his fur, because he's mainly white. And so I thought he looked great. I like his little squint. I thought he looked great from like almost start to finish. This is when I decided to paint the background green. I was kind of hoping it would help, because I was really struggling with Ella and her coat. And I think I got maybe a little bit too into it, a little bit like too nitty gritty with all the details in her coat and not just sticking to general big shapes, and it stressed me out, and I think it's what I mainly struggled with the rest of the piece. Like here, I mean, we're kind of fixing it now, but like, yeah, her face was giving me trouble. Oh, that doesn't look too bad. Okay. I know I go back at it like 2-3 more times at least, but I think it's looking pretty good at this point. Okay, so we're almost done with the painting. We're kind of coming to the end. I'll start working on the background now. Since the dogs are mainly shaped out, they got their little details. I think they're looking great. I think Ella's face still will get a few touch-ups here and there, but overall, I'm really liking how they look. I like how Henry looks. If you ask me how I thought while I was painting it, I did not like any of it. But like I said earlier in the video, I do not paint dogs often, so it's like, of course they're not gonna be perfect. For the background, as you can see, I'm kind of adding in like just a bunch of random strokes. I started off with these blobs and I wasn't really sure where to go from there, so I looked up a video on how to paint grass and just kind of went ham on it. It was mainly just a bunch of individual strokes and kind of clumps here and there, as you can see, and I think it turned out alright towards the end. After this, I took it and I did a little bit of few touch-ups closer to where I could see it, and I think they turned out really cute. And here are some of the finals. It's after I've already given it to them, and they loved them, which thank God. And they're so cute. Yay! Now that those two are done, let's move in to Wally. So Wally's looking pretty good at this point. It honestly was such a struggle in real time. Watching it back, it doesn't, like, it goes pretty quickly. It doesn't seem like it was that bad, but, you know, looking at the beginning where he looked just like a piece of ham, and like now, it was tough. Oranges are hard for me. Oranges and browns, I feel like, are pretty, I like can't wrap my head around them. So this was definitely a little tough when it came to figuring out which colors to use, but I think he turned out really good. And at this point, I decided to change the background into more of a blue since he is very orangey, just like for good contrast. And that's really the end of the painting. I've already given it to my mom and she loved it, of course. This painting was also very special to me because Wally was my family dog growing up. It's been a few years since he's passed, but I love him just as much as I did then. And I think it turned out really good. Hello there. Welcome back. We are finished. As you saw, the paintings did get completed, and we're back, and I am a shark. My party that I had after I finished the top one, we did white elephant, and this is what I won. A shark onesie. I did also go on my trip, and my aunt and my mom loved their little paintings. Of course, I mean, how can you not? It's their dogs. You have to. You have to, or you hate your dogs. It's that simple. So, they did like the paintings. Thankfully, we did get them done in time. And I think they're good enough. I don't have them here. Obviously, I already gave them away, but I have some, like, finishing shots of them. And I think they turned out pretty good. I'm really happy with how Wally turned out. Because, like, in the speed paint, I just could not figure out the colors. Like, orange is, like, the one color that I'm like, I don't know what to do about. And, like, orange and brown. And I wanted to, like, make him a bit more colorful. But I just, like, I couldn't wrap my head around it. I didn't have enough time. And I barely got done with him before I had to get ready and, like, get other things done and go to the party. Because I did him Saturday morning, so it all worked out. I think they look fine. I really like the two dogs as well. I really like Henry. He's the more white one in the back. Ella took me a little bit more time. She has a lot more color variation in her fur that I wanted to show, and I ended up getting a little bit too nitty-gritty. So it was tough. It was tough, to say the least. But I like how they turned out. They liked them a lot, which makes me happy, because, like, if they didn't, I would be very sad. And, I haven't heard word from Michaela if she likes her present or not, because she left for Canada before it could get to her. So, hopefully she likes it. Again, if she doesn't, then she hates her pets, and that's fucked up. So, this has been Shark, or Jeff, if you play Marvel Rivals, and I had a great time, and I want to do more dog paintings, which is low-key a spoiler for my next video. So, I will see you guys another time. Happy holidays. This should be out on, like, New Year's, so Christmas is past, but yay, 2025, another year.